Copic friends, Michelle Houghton here. I have two quick book reviews that are coming up here in the next month, and this is the first. The authors, producers of this book contacted me and asked if I would take a look at it and give them a quick review online, so here you go. This is a new book that you can find on Amazon, and Magna Artists Copic Marker Coloring Techniques. Great for beginners starting Copic markers. And I'm going to actually agree with this statement. If you have, in particular, a young person in your life who is interested in Copic markers, and particularly more that manga style, my understanding is that it is pronounced manga or anime manga, but I apologize if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. This actually is a beautiful book, and I would say incredibly well written in that it really does have some useful tips, practical tips. It gives you a really good foundation to some beginning Copic techniques. So if you take a quick peek in the table of contents, we have some basic coloring methods, manga artists coloring techniques, some real specifics, and then fixing mistakes, growing your skills, and some Copic marker facts, kind of frequently asked questions. So pretty good overview of what flipping through you're going to find in the book. But in this first chapter, it really is talking about some of the basics of how you're layering color. They've got some great tips about really practicing putting one color down first and the other color. Now with manga art, a lot of times you're not seeing that blend of a light, medium, dark that you would see in a crafting, what we focus on crafting coloring. Sorry about that. But they're doing more single colors. They do some layering. They do a lot of kind of wet on wet, not a whole lot of back and forth. So it does look different, but they do a lot of layering two colors and taking advantage of what those blends create. But they talked about how to get smooth color, again, but you still are learning about blending. One of the things that's in their book that I don't talk a lot about because I just don't have a good knowledge of it is some of the digital skills. A lot of manga artists are creating their own artwork and then turning them into digital imagery. And there's some basics about how to do that and some tips about how to do it well, which for, again, a young artist, that's going to open some doors for them that they would be interested in. One of the features in this book that I actually really, really like is they come through and they feature a whole series of really amazing Copic artists that do some different styles of that manga or anime considered art, and they are just really stunning examples of Copic work, and then giving some tips about how they're getting the effects that they have in their artwork. And there's a whole series of these kind of throughout the book, which I really like. In that fourth section, you have some specifics like how to color a pearl, and they give some beautiful, beautiful examples, kind of step out the colors they use, the steps of how they do it, how to color an apple. There's a whole group of these kind of right in that core center of the book. And I think, again, these are really well done, but you are going to see them use colors differently than what I would typically teach in one of my tutorials or in one of my classes. As always, I am a huge fan of learning different techniques and finding some things that work for you. You are always going to learn something new. One of the next section of the book is a lot more of that how-to, some really nitty-gritty using Copic. So things like correcting mistakes. There's some advanced techniques in the back, and just growing your skills. And then the very last section of the book is that kind of frequently asked questions about Copic markers. And again, this is some of even more the factoid about how is the ink made, how are the markers made, what are you looking for when your markers are drying out, but just some great fact information. So again, this is Manga Artists Copic Marker Coloring Techniques. I'm going to butcher these names if I even attempt them, but you will find this beautiful book on Amazon. I know that they've gone through some phases of running low. So if you're interested, you can look it up there. I will provide a link in the comments or in that description section, whichever one YouTube is going to allow me to do, just so you guys can find this book. But again, I would highly recommend it for a young person in your life who's really interested in Copic but is leaning more toward this type of illustration. They're going to get some great instruction on how to start with Copic markers, but also this different kind of coloring than a little bit than what we're doing in the crafting world, whether we're aiming for realism or kind of our little stamped card images. Thank you to these guys for letting me share this information with you and sharing this book with me. It is a beautiful book. And if you stay tuned, we're going to do a giveaway of at least one of these over on our My Facebook group. So if you're interested, find me over on Copic in the Craft Room on Facebook, and we're going to have kind of just a drawing for one of these over there. All right. Excellent. You guys have a happy, colorful day.